Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News, where climate change is always in the headlines, as it should be all over the globe. This should be the most important story that human beings are considering. Some people get this, some people understand that, and are starting to take action or are starting to put it into their political platforms. The majority, however, are not. Unfortunately, we're going to need a lot more hands on deck if we're actually going to turn this around. It's a race against time, and it's also a race against past emissions, and we are already seeing the effects of climate change. We are already experiencing climate change events. We are seeing the very beginnings of widespread ecological collapse due to climate change. It's unfortunate. It's scary. It's infuriating. It's so many things. But anyways, here is another sign that we are not in a good place. This is from the New York Times. The return of the Blob. Hawaii's reefs threatened by marine heat. Parts of the Pacific Ocean are simmering, threatening coral reefs and livelihoods around Hawaii and causing many to worry of worse to come. The ocean is very important to us, said Kaimi Kaupiko, who lives in Mololi'i, a community often called the last Hawaiian fishing village on the Big Island. The way of life there depends on the fish provided by the reefs, which are now becoming sick in the warming waters. It affects a lot of how we are going to survive. Mr. Kaupiko said, researchers said the heat wave was reminiscent of 2014 when a hot spot that became known as the Blob began forming in the Pacific. It expanded and lingered over much of the Pacific coast from Mexico to Alaska for years. If anybody remembers, that is when California had a 5 or 6 year long drought when the Blob showed up. Both marine heat waves are super unusual, according to Andrew Lessing, a research oceanographer with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Marine heat waves are super unusual. Nearly every other marine heat wave NOAA has recorded in 40 years of satellite monitoring shrinks in comparison. The event in 2014-15 was maybe 8 to 10 times the size of Alaska. And the current event we're having is nearly that big, Dr. Lessing said. And then everything else is sort of an even further distant third or fourth. Researchers say they think that climate change strongly influenced the original Blob's creation. The Blob also led to the first known mass bleaching event in Hawaii, the first, in which coral reefs, stressed by the extreme temperatures, shed the symbiotic plant that gives both gives them their flamboyant coloration and provides them with oxygen. Parts of Hawaii saw about 50% coral loss for the 2015 event. Jameson Gove, a research oceanographer with NOAA, said by email it was particularly devastating in areas of Hawaii Island and Maui. Reef watchers said they were worried about a repeat. Last time, researchers were unprepared for the marine heat wave, said Greg Asner, director for the Center for Global Discovery and Conservation Science at Arizona State University, who is based in Hawaii part of the year. This time, in addition to satellite observation and a network of sensors they deployed in July, researchers are using a community science project in which members of the public use a web platform to document any bleached coral that they see. It helps guide researchers' decisions about where to survey, given how sprawling the Hawaiian Islands are. Green on the platform's maps means no bleaching, yellow and orange mean some bleaching, and red means a lot of bleaching. And if you ask me, if you looked at that a month ago, it was just a few yellow dots, and then the orange dots started popping up, and now we have red dots. Then the algae. Entire fisheries collapsed along the Pacific during the previous heat wave as high water temperatures upended the aquatic food web. According to some estimates, 100 million cod disappeared off the coast of southern Alaska. Warming waters can trigger the release of a neurotoxin called domoic acid from algae. Shellfish eat the algae, and when animals eat the shellfish, they get sick and can die. Tens of thousands of dead seabirds washed up on beaches during the blob, as did sick and dying sea lions, most likely a result of domoic acid poisoning. In 2016, domoic acid also prompted officials to close the California Dungeness crab fishery. And lastly, in this video, it has been a little while since we heard from Michael Campy at Way Past What the Fuck, and he has a new entry. This is from Thursday, October 24th. It's going to get bad before it gets worse. People sleep peaceably in their beds at night only because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf. That's attributed to George Orwell. A couple of years ago, when the town of Oroville, California, was shut off from the rest of the world due to flooding, a friend of mine who lives there said it went Wild West real quick. People were carrying guns. He and his wife both had guns in their cars, getting in fights at gas stations, stripping the shelves at grocery stores of supplies, and this took place over only a couple of days. If you have been following the events that are occurring in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas, you will have some idea of what we are going to be faced with. Hurricane Imelda has just dropped what is being called unprecedented amount of rain in southeast Texas. Weather like this is only going to become more commonplace as we hurtle towards oblivion. With the extremes will come more and more desperation as people try to find food, water, and shelter and to protect their families. And if you think that somehow it won't happen in your neighborhood, you are sorely mistaken. Between the collapse and the end, there is going to be an interim period where you will have to either defend what you care about or die. There will be no in-between. There will be no happy, peaceful people singing and holding hands on the beach while they wait for the destruction that is sure to come. There will be desperate, panicked, fearful people, unsure of what to do or where to go. If you do not want to be crushed beneath the feet of a stampeding herd of humans, you had better start taking steps right now to prepare yourself. I'm not talking about long-term preparation because we all know that there is no long-term. What I am talking about is preparing to hold on for as long as you can and defend those you love. In his book, The Gift of Fear, Gavin de Becker said, "Though we live in space-age times, we still have Stone-Age minds. We are competitive and territorial and violent, just like our simian ancestors. There are people who insist this isn't so, who insist that they could never kill anyone, but they invariably add a telling caveat, unless, of course, a person tried to harm someone I love. So the resource of violence is in everyone. All that changes is our view of the justification. This being the case, it may be contention. It is my contention that everyone should take steps to prepare for what will be a very violent, unsettling time that will challenge every one of the views you currently hold of your peaceful, higher nature. Nonviolence will not be an option." George Hebert was a pioneering physical educator in the French military who developed a system of physical education. He lived between 1875 and 1957. Developed a system of physical education and training known as la méthode naturelle, or the natural method, which combined the training of a wide variety of physical capacities with the training of courage and morality. He stated that the final goal of physical education is to make strong beings. In the purely physical sense, the natural method promotes the qualities of organic resistance, muscularity, and speed. Muscularity, excuse me. Don't mind me. Muscularity and speed towards being able to walk, run, jump, move on all fours, to climb, to keep balance, to throw, lift, to defend yourself, and to swim. It is now time to begin your training. Violence and unrest will come your way, and you had better be prepared. It will not wait for you to be ready. I was chased down a mountain road by a psycho in a big car just the other night for driving too slow. He was not going to ask if I was ready. He was just going to attack me. He did not care if I was old or young, tall or short, peaceful or equally as violent. He just wanted to hurt me for interfering with his desire to go fast. Imagine what it would have been like if he needed food or water or wanted money or had a family that he was providing for. It would have resulted in either him or me getting hurt or possibly killed. So in opposition to everything I have always believed, I am now getting ready. I have signed up for a close quarters combat class, Krav Maga. I'm going to CERT, C-E-R-T, Community Emergency Response Team, meetings to learn emergency medical techniques. CERT is nationwide, and there is most likely a group near you, and I'm going to buy a gun and learn how to use it. I do not view myself as a particularly violent person, but I am also practical enough to know that I will have to defend people and places that I love in the not too distant future, or I could just die. P.S. I am not an Amazon affiliate and provide links only to give you an easy way to purchase the listed books. Sound advice, and always a good story from Michael Campy. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Sometimes people get unsubscribed, so just check, hit the subscribe button. Until next time, peace.